I'm thinking about bringing down those barriers of fear. What am I talking about? I'm talking about how after you've already heard those statements, which are very good statements that I'll say, that I've heard from people just advising for something that you may be thinking about doing, quit trying to plan out and do it and just make that leap and do it. I do agree with that. I've heard a lot of people saying, say for instance, with whether it was recording YouTube videos or doing any other deal, sometimes you just got to leap out there and do it because you're trying to do all this prep work behind the scene and you just never do it because you think you got to get everything perfect. But I'm taking this video a step further than that, and I'm thinking about you having that barrier of fear to where you just won't make a move. I'm gonna go with public speaking, right? I know we learned in class that some people have such a great fear of public speaking. They have a greater fear of that than they do death. Some people are terrified. So no matter how much prepping you may do, you just may not be able to stand up on that so-called cliff and do what it is that you need to do, right? But in order to bring down that barrier of fear, we're going to have to do some actionable steps that'll move you closer to accomplishing your goal. So let's think about what that public speaking for instance. This may look like, forget everything that we were talking about trying to lead up and do like these baby steps. We're talking about actionable things to bring down that barrier of fear, right? Because I wanted to jump in here cold with something where you may take all the steps necessary, reading books, looking at videos on things that people may say, do to get over this fear of doing whatever it is, but you can't make that final step, which therefore you're hindered and you may just turn your back on it, right? So I want to jump in here full on, cold turkey on something that you just got to do it, right? No matter how many people tell you got to do it, you got to make that decision to do it because it's just something difficult for you to get over. So you done read all the books, you done looked at videos and so forth and so on. Start small. Start with maybe perhaps speaking with a small group of people that you may be even familiar with that you wouldn't even have a fear of speaking in front of because you all know. Whether that's some sort of outside recreational activity with maybe some side gig that you have going on where you're volunteering or what have you. Maybe it's speaking at a school with smaller kids. People usually tend to have a easier way about doing that because with it being smaller kids, they're not really looking at you and thinking about the things that you may think that they're thinking about you. You've heard people say that before, when they go, man, when you're talking, like all these fears that you have of speaking up in front of people, really people aren't thinking about every little thing that you're talking about. They're hanging on to what you're saying, but you psych yourself out, right? So maybe that could be you speaking up at your kid's school with just kids in front of the class or whatever the case may be. You don't have kids, use your imagination on what I'm talking about. Maybe it's a small group of friends or maybe some sort of work function before you having to speak to the entire department. Maybe it's just people on your team or whatever the case may be. Start small to get out there and then you work your way up. And maybe if you're part of some other organization, maybe you're capable of doing that there. Start small and then work your way up to it. The thing is, these are actionable steps that can be measured so you can make your way on up to your goal. Bring those barriers of fear down. After you've done all your little planning, everything that I've talked about in my earlier videos, when I'm talking about, do your research first. Do your research so you can make these moves. I just wanted to jump in here and talk about something where it's just, you can't do it. I'm saying you can't do it because you can't bring yourself to do it because you don't know the appropriate, I'm thinking about proper and appropriate steps. I wanted to say both of them at the same time. You can't think of the appropriate way to go about doing whatever it is you're doing. You can't push yourself out that nest so you can flap those wings and learn to fly. Maybe you don't do it from the tallest tree. Maybe you start with a smaller tree. That's the reason why I was talking about perhaps speaking, whether it was at first I was getting ready to say, I don't even know if they really do that any longer, because as long as I substitute taught, I don't really remember that going on. But maybe I could be wrong, thinking about how parents would come up to the school and talk about something that they do. But I do remember parents coming up to the school and maybe perhaps addressing the class because of maybe some profession or something that maybe they worked out with the teacher, and you were addressing the class. And it's a lot easier because, hey, your kids up off in there. You got other kids that maybe you may know because your child is friends with them. I'm trying to ease some ideas here. And maybe you're not as a nervous wreck as you would be in talking to a big old room of people you don't know. These are just some of the smallest steps in bringing down those barriers of fear so you can do whatever it is that you want to do. Another thing that I would think about is, people said this, and this is 1,000,000% true. You can be your own worst enemy in the things that you want to accomplish and do. You can be in your way, if you will. You can be your own hindrance from stopping you what you're wanting to do. Other people may embrace it, especially when you're talking about people that don't know you. People may embrace it wholeheartedly and look forward to you doing whatever it is that you're doing, but you can't bring yourself to do it because you're thinking about shortcomings that you perceive that you may have. And I say perceive because more often than not, these things are battles that we're fighting in our head other people aren't even thinking about. I've seen people step out and do things that don't have I'll just say the typical way, or what you may think about with a person doing whatever it is that they're doing. You would think, I wouldn't picture that actual personality type or some of the things, qualities that they possess in doing that. But doggone it, they're doing it, and they're doing it well. So that's what I'm talking about. Forget what you're seeing, what people are telling you can't be done. You got to look at it this way, which I've gotten off the track of what I was getting ready to say about standing out, moving out of your own way. Move those blocks. Don't let yourself be I'm tired. Don't move out your own way. Don't let yourself be. Don't let you be the reason why you aren't able to accomplish the goals that you set forth. That's what I was trying to say. Out of all these things in this world, all the things that could possibly hang us up and potentially keep us from doing what we're doing at a particular time that we're doing them, out of all things, don't let you be that reason for not doing whatever it is that you're trying to do. Bring down those fears. What do you have to fear about accomplishing your goals? Bring down those barriers one by one. Now I'm going to work the video backwards. Before you get up to those goals, doing your research first. Looking into whatever it is that you want to do so you can bring down those fears. A lot of the times we have fears because it's fears of the unknown. We don't know. We don't know because we've not done it before. We have a perceived notion or idea of the way that we think that it's supposed to go, or a certain skill set that's supposed to go along with whatever it is we're trying to do, and we psych ourselves out. We don't know. So that's the reason why I say that, you get back to what I was saying in earlier videos, in which I knocked at the beginning of this video because I just wanted to jump in, both feet in the water. Get back to knowing what it is that you want to do. Brush up on it. Learn up on it. So you can bring down those challenges, or the things that you perceive to be challenges. You might surprise yourself and find out some of the things that you thought that were going to be difficult. Hey, maybe it's easy for you. It's a given. Maybe it might not even be something that you have to work at. Then it might be some other things that you really thought were hard that they turned out to not be so hard. So you were still able to work at it. And you're still working towards your goal. That's what I'm talking about. That's the easy stuff, doing the research. I just wanted to tackle it head on because I know that some people, they get right up to that ledge and they're just like, man, I can't flap my wings and go. I can't take off on my own to do whatever it is that I want to perceive and do because I can psych myself out and I think that I can't do it. So how do I get off this ledge? And like I said, with some people, what I've heard, with, like I said, other YouTubers and just advice in general, this has just kind of been like age old. It's just like, quit all the procrastination and just do it. But I'm thinking about it from that standpoint of whatever it is that just do it is. You can't just do it because you're just terribly afraid of doing it to move closer to your goal, accomplishing your goal, whatever healthy goal that may be. In regards to you, is you're trying to make a better you. I'm sure whatever it is that you're trying to do, you're trying to move to a better future so you can get up to that next level. You're trying to beat that boss. Get to the end game. You can do it. Bring down those barriers of fear. First thing, and this is going to be easier said than done, just take the fear up out of it. It does. It gets back to what they said. Just take the fear up out of it, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And just, like I said, piece by piece, start with your research. Okay? That's what I do in trying to bring those barriers of fear down. You know what? To try to bring this home more so, because I know I tackled the speech thing because that's a thing that a lot of people may, will go to. And I thought that was a real good example of something. You're just like, man, I just can't do it because I just like freeze up. You know what? I'm going to say this before I get ready to talk about something personal. Because I really want to flesh this out and drive this point home when I'm thinking about with the speech thing. I'm going to say this without going into too much detail, but giving you the gist of it because I don't really want to put the situation on blast. I remember there was a particular time that someone had to give a speech. They were so deathly afraid of doing it that they actually stopped in the middle of the speech and they just, they went and they sat down. And I approached them. I told them, and it was the truth. Wasn't just telling them this. This is the reason why I'm telling you what I'm telling you now. I told them I enjoyed what you had to say. You have just as much right to be up there talking about whatever it is that you're talking about. You have just as much right as any of us. So next time, talk about what you want to talk about. I want to hear what you got to say. Don't worry about the things that's going on up off in your head. I liked it. That's the truth. Next time they got up there, they completed their speech. Awesome. Awesome. Now, I want to talk about myself. And I've said this in earlier videos, but I want to bring it back home. I think about how this is a family trait of going to the doctor, trying to stick your head in the sand about not addressing and doing certain things. I didn't even want to, especially in my younger years, I didn't even want, I'm still young, but in my earlier years, I didn't even want to go do a physical. I didn't know what they might say. I looked at the doctor like they were an auto mechanic on my car, and I don't know what you gonna come back telling. I need new tires, man. Hey, I know we just went up on here to do this oil change, but your transmission about to fall out. That was the same way I was looking at the doctor. Hey, man, look, I know you just came in here for a little bit of blood work. We about to tell you, your legs about to drop off underneath you. Your back about to fall off. I didn't know what they might say. I was sweating. I was sweating up off in there. But the thing was, in order to break like that family tradition of sticking your head in the sand, it was just like, hey, you know what? You're a parent now. You're a family man. This is some foolishness, man. You can't be doing this. At the time, look, I'm gonna even bring it home a little further. Actually, the talk was a little bit different. I'm really trying to gloss up over it because even when I was a family man, there was points where I still wasn't going because you got that youth on your side. You just rolling on through. It didn't really sink in until I was a single parent, and the child was relying on me for everything. Not saying that they weren't relying on me when it was a two-person household, two-parent household, but when it was just me, I knew I couldn't let some foolishness take me out of here just because I was trying to stick my head in the sand. I was afraid to go. I had to face whatever it was head on, beat it early so I could still be here. That was years ago. Yeah, I still struggle on going. I've not missed an appointment. When I'm saying struggle on going, I'm not saying like I'm canceling appointments or what have you. Those thoughts still creep up, but I still keep on trucking on through. Bringing down those barriers of fear so you can do what you need to do. That's what I'm talking about. Stay encouraged. Avoid being discouraged. My name's Ayin. Y'all have a good one.